Coffee with the Commish coming to you from Freehold, New Jersey. We're in the house that Buddy built. Of course, I am joined by Untouchable. Untouchable, how are you?
Doing fine. Happy to do this.
Appreciate you coming on. What kind of coffee are we drinking here?
It's a ShopRite brand. It's a dark roast, and that's about all I know. And it's good. I like it.
You have your Turning Point mug. I have a nice floral mug here.
Yeah, Turning Point. I got this one day when I ate breakfast there.
Very nice, very nice. Well, appreciate you coming back on the show. Last year, we talked a little bit about retirement life and how much traveling you've done in the past. So, interested since then, what have you been up to?
We haven't done much because of health issues. You know, my wife seems to get everything that a person can get. You know, as you get older, you have all these aches and pains, and my knees are killing me, so we don't walk as much anymore. We went a few places, but nothing exciting.
Any big trips planned though for 2020 or anything?
Yeah, we intend to go on a cruise. Basically, the cruise is going to be more the vacation than the places we're going to. But Belize is one of the places, and I always wanted to go there. So the other places we've been to.
Okay, well, we are here in Freehold, New Jersey. As I'd mentioned, this is the Riviera Complex, a nice retirement community, and you can't see it from here. There's a nice water fountain outside in our viewpoint. But the Riviera, I know a few members of the league are retired. Actually, you gave the Mean Machine one time a tour of Riviera, if you recall.
I did.
Would you recommend it to any other retired guys in the league as a community to live in?
It has its good points, bad points. It can be you're not limited to what you could do to a certain extent, but everything you do, you have to file papers for, and they got to approve. So that can be annoying to certain people. I really don't do all that much, so I can live with it. But it can be annoying.
But otherwise, a nice place to live?
Yeah, not bad. You know, I'm here 14 years now, so I sort of got used to it. You know, play a lot of cards here. Anything to do with gambling I like, so that's pretty good.
And prior to this, you spent a lot of time living in Staten Island, and I think other parts of New York, and there's a couple members of the league also from Staten Island, Pop's Fish. Originally, I believe Mrs. Jimmy Legs is from Staten Island. Yeah. Would you ever go back there, or has it changed completely since you've been there?
It changed to the point where it's just too crowded. I remember I was coming down New Dorp Lane and I had to make a left on Highland Boulevard. I can't tell you how many lights we had to wait for by the time we got there. Then when I was going to make the left, a lot of kids from New Dorp High School were crossing the street. I had to wait for them, caught another light because of that. It's just a madhouse there. I think what happened is they overpopulated Staten Island, and I don't think I would ever want to go back.
Well, shifting gears, one question you actually requested I ask you is if you were to attend a university, go to college, do it all over again, which school would you go to? So I'd be interested in where you would go.
All right.
Just don't say Ohio State, otherwise we'll cut this program short.
No, wouldn't be. Actually, where I would have always liked to went, like when I was younger, was Army. I like that. I would have liked to have done that. Of course, I'm not smart enough to go there, and I knew it at the time when I was thinking about it. You know, but I would have liked that type of life. I love the school. I've been to twice there, and it's such a pretty area, and I like the whole idea of it. But of course, I would have never made it. And I'll tell you another thing. What they used to have there now. The only people that would know about this, and I used to read this magazine all the time, in the Daily News they had like a colored section where they used to they made a big deal of the Army-Navy game, and they used to give you the 3 top players from each team and explain it. And it was the magazine station, so I'm sure your father might remember it. Jimmy Legs, I'm sure, would remember it because he's up near my age. Maybe Mitch. You know what I mean? Maybe Vinny. I don't know. But the Daily News used to have it, right? When the Daily News was a big deal then. and they used to have this color section, and I looked in there, and they used to always have the Army-Navy game. That was like the biggest game of the year back back then.
Yeah.
And that's how I got interested in Army, by reading all the players that they had.
Have you been to a game up in West Point?
I went to one game, and it was really, really exciting because they had parachute jumpers, land on the field. They make a big deal of it, and it really is a big deal. And although I think I went once or twice, but that was it. I should have went more because it's a beautiful area up there.
We'll have to do it again. Maybe that inspires a league outing to a game at West Point.
It would be nice. I would definitely go, especially if they had those. I'm sure that they have they're called the Golden Knights.
Yeah.
And they're really, really great when they land. It's a very pretty thing to see. Then they have all the band playing before the game, and it's just a nice thing. I'm sure they have a museum there, and they show you like all military stuff. It's really nice.
We'll make it maybe a plan for 2020, a more league outing too.
I would definitely go. It would be nice. We can even take a bus trip up there.
Let's do it. As long as I'm driving the bus, I won't be a passenger there. Let's play Two Truths and a Lie. So
right.
How this works, again, 3 statements about yourself. Could be hobbies, interests, places you travel to. One of them will be a lie, and it'll be up to the league to determine which one it is. Now, last week we had quite a few guests for the Madison Hedgecox episode, and most people were wrong. So let's see if people can do better this week. Ready to go?
All right, I'm ready to go. I one time, when I was in the Army, I was down at Fort Bragg, and my team won the post championship in softball.
Okay.
And I played shortstop on that team, and we won at Fort Bragg. There was over 100,000 soldiers there. My outfit got recalled up, and we went there.
Okay.
I used to be a very good swimmer when I was younger, and I one time won a swimming tournament.
Okay.
And my other thing is I like to travel, and I traveled to quite a few places, went through every state, and I've been overseas to a lot of different places.
Got it. So to recap, softball champion, swimming champion, and traveled all 50 states and multiple countries. So,
Right.
League, let's see what you come back with, and we'll report the answer in the weekly notes.
Okay.
Let's talk business, that, of course, being fantasy football. It's your 8th season in the league, and to date, your career record is 48-58. It's a .452 winning percentage. 3rd place finish in 2013. Really, I think last year was the tough year for you. 2-11 record, finished in 14th. But this year, you're off to a 3-3 start, currently in 8th. You've dropped 2 in a row. Lost to Mud Dogs last week, but you're in the game of the week this week against Jimmy Legs. So how are we feeling about this team?
I'm very disappointed once again. For some sort of reason, I really, really thought this guy was going to be really great, and he's not. Try to trade him. Everybody sees through me on that trade. And that's the guy that's on Kansas City, Williams.
Damian Williams, the running back.
I mean, I really, really thought at the end of last season, that guy, you couldn't stop him. This year, you can't. He can't even run a yard before he gets tackled. Then he's hurt. Another thing that bothers me, all these professional guys on all these teams, whether it's basketball, football, and baseball, they're always hurt. I don't understand it. I mean, I worked all my life. I hardly ever took a day off. I worked 41 years. How do these guys get hurt playing the game is beyond me. I don't know how they get paid this kind of money to sit home.
Yeah, well, the wind blows these days, and people are on the injury list.
It really is disgusting. It really is, and especially now picking teams, right? You pick a team, your guy gets hurt like Williams did. Mm-hmm. How am I going to win? I mean, I often wonder, and I would like to know if anybody would admit this. I don't do it. Maybe I should.
So this is a question posed to the league.
Right. I'm paying, to everybody that's in the league. Does anybody pay these guys that tell you, who to pick or have them on the side during the draft. I mean, I don't do it because I don't want to do it. I want to try to beat you myself. But has anybody ever used these places like for $4.99 a month or $10 a month?
That is a good question for the league. I know.
Does anybody do it?
DeMountaineers has mentioned he has an inside source to injuries that tips him off on people getting hurt. So there is a privilege there. But
Okay.
Otherwise, that is a good question. Anybody that is paying for a service to help them with their team, let us know. One thing I was looking at, the last 4 years, you've been the transaction champion of the league. So that means the person that's made the most amount of moves, adds, and drops. To date, though, you have 25 moves as of this filming, but that's only good for third place in terms of transactions. Drug-infested Den is 29. Blue Moon is 26. So do you think you'll defend that transactions title, or are you happy to give it up?
Look, I don't even want that title, because if that title means I'm not picking well, or all the guys I'm picking is hurt. And I give an example. Like my number one pick was the tight end on Kansas City. So what happens to me last night, right? The best quarterback in the league gets hurt. So that hurts my tight end, right?
It does.
So I have all these hardships, you know what I mean? And nothing seems to go right for me. I know I'm doing a little crying here, but it hurts. It really does.
Well,
and I try hard, and believe me, when I'm picking all these guys, trading, picking, I'm trying to do my best at it, and it's not good enough.
Well, if the playoffs were to start today, you would be in the dance. So your team is right in the mix. We've talked about a little bit the in-laws throwdown. This was a challenge that Pop's Fish created between the Moors and the Dicks or Bonos. If you were to win, which restaurant would you pick and why?
Well, we went to Amy's, and I tell you the truth, it was very good. Or Turning Point, it's very good. Amy's omelet was very good.
That's Amy's Omelet House in Pure Village in West Long Branch.
Right.
So that's where we're going if you win?
Well, I'm not the only guy to make that decision, but I had an omelet there. It was very good. And so it's Turning Point. So either or, it wouldn't bother me. You know what I mean? But that's if we win. So far, I have one win against you.
Yep.
And I lost to your brother, so that's it. I haven't played your father yet.
So we're entering week 7 here. Looking at all the teams, and it's still young. The season's still young, but what are your thoughts on maybe the toughest team or two to beat this year? Who do you think is a front runner right now to win the league?
Well, your brother looks good, and Blue Moon is always up there. And by the way, that's I don't like that name at all.
Don't like that name?
No, he named it after a beer. I liked when he was a little cocky about, first place, second place, we'll, establish this.
Would you rather Pabst Blue Ribbon as the name or a different
Well,
name?
I happen to like Pabst Blue Ribbon better than Blue Moon. But my favorite beer is, what the hell is the one I drink,
You like Michelob?
Michelob Ultra Light. I really like that beer. I really do. You know what I mean? I don't like any of these foreign beers. As I was telling you that at my friend's house, he made that Irish coffee. Loved it. I mean, he makes it with, I told you, Kahlua and some kind of whiskey from Ireland.
Spiked coffee, Irish coffee. How many cups did you have?
4.
Nice.
I loved it. I mean, I was getting embarrassed that I kept on asking the guy. He made it in, well, he makes a big pot full, and he keeps on pushing it. But that's about the most I ever drank.
Well, this is probably, at least for this episode, going to be my favorite segment here because I have a few anonymous questions. These are real questions from real people in the league. They're not my questions, so I need to preface that. But the first question is by far my favorite anonymous question of all time. So put some thought to it. You need to answer it. And I'm interested in your take. You ready to go?
Go ahead.
All right, so a member of the league is telling me you have 2 dinner dates tonight. There's 2 options. You have to pick one of them. The first option is to go to a Mexican restaurant with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Or you could go to a soul food restaurant with Cory Booker.
Oh, shit. Are you kidding me?
Which one you picking?
How can I answer that question? Two stupid people and two stupid restaurants. I don't like either. I don't like a Mexican restaurant and soul food. Forget about it. I guess I would go with her to the Mexican restaurant because I don't like soul food.
Okay.
And Booker is an idiot, and so is she. So, but I'd probably pick the Mexican because I could deal with that food more than the other one.
So a date with AOC at a Mexican restaurant. So, that was a great question. Another anonymous question from somebody else in the league is, how much money would it take for you to smoke weed?
I don't like to be forced into anything. I never smoked weed, and I mean, let's face it. You gave me $1 million. You know what I mean? I would do it. I mean, it would be silly to say you wouldn't do something like that. I mean, I've never been a millionaire. Don't intend to be, but if I could, because I'm going to smoke a weed, yeah, why not? But really, in all fairness, if you just gave me a modest thing, I wouldn't do it. No.
Okay, so $1 million would be the price point.
Well,
Negotiable.
I mean, it's negotiable even for less. But the point is I don't want to smoke it.
Yeah. Another anonymous question: what are the top 3 states you've been to, and the bottom 3 states?
I like them all. Everyone has a thing that I like. You know what I mean? I would probably try to pick the safest states. You know what I mean? There are states that are getting now a little hairy. But I don't know. I've been to Texas. I liked it. I told you Colorado was my favorite state. I don't like their politics there. They're all liberal. But California's a pretty state. Wouldn't go there. They're liberal and their taxes are crazy. Texas I liked. Florida, Arizona I really liked a lot.
So what about the 3 worst states?
As I said before, I've been to all of them and I enjoyed all of them. What would I not? I guess California because of their taxes, if you want to do that. Oregon because it's very liberal, but it's a pretty state. I mean, Oregon's very pretty. Let me see. Massachusetts, I wouldn't go there. It's another garbage state. I like Boston area, but that's another liberal state, so I would never go there.
Well, this may have tipped off one of the 2 truths and a lie as far as talking about the states, but we'll see if people can still guess.
Yeah.
We'll see. Why do you root for the Indianapolis Colts?
Well, way back when I told you, when I was a kid, if I liked a player, I followed the team. I told you I liked Hank Bauer. And so I followed the Yankees. I liked John Unitas, so I followed the Colts. You know what I mean? I liked Gordie Howe, so I followed Detroit. And what was the other sport?
Hockey, basketball, football, baseball.
Basketball, well, recently I liked Larry Bird. To me, he was like fantastic. But I used to like Bob Cousy because he could pass the ball. And all these guys had a particular thing that I liked about him. Hank Bauer was a hustler. And I mentioned, I'm surprised nobody picked up on this. He holds a record in World Series play that'll probably never be broken. And the reason is you got to be in it for a couple of years, right? And the record that he holds is he got 17 consecutive hits, 1 or more hits in 17 games. So to do that, you have to be in 3 World Series. And how many people are going to do that in today's day and age? They all trade, they go to different teams, you know what I mean? So that's the record he holds. He's got 17 consecutive hits in 17 games. And I don't think it'll be broken because in your lifetime, you don't really play that many World Series.
So the team interest has...
And I think the closest to him is Jeter with 12 games in a row. You know what I mean?
So the team interest is generated from a specific player that you liked.
Yeah, every player that I liked. I used to love to watch Cousy, play, and you know what I mean. And every time that I saw him, and it wasn't that much time because the sports then weren't big like now. But when I did see him play, I enjoyed him playing because of what he could do. You know what I mean?
Yep. Well, I have one more anonymous question for you. If you could eat only one type of vegetable for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Believe it or not, it may sound odd to me. I like spinach.
Okay.
I like artichokes. You know what I mean? So I would say like maybe between those two things.
Okay, we'll give you two.
Potatoes. Potatoes is another thing. Yeah, it's kind of saying I can pick a few things that I like, and I like those three things. Even corn on the cob I like. So
Okay.
it's a couple of things.
We have a couple league trivia questions for you about the history of the league. So if you get all three right, you get a coffee gift card. Think you can do it?
Right. I don't know because I've heard some of them I got, some of them I really didn't get. But
Okay.
if you do the current stuff, not years ago stuff, maybe.
I think we can keep it current. So the first question, the team in the league that has the longest tenure without a championship.
Oh, a giant rule.
No hesitation.
No.
I love that. What season number is this for the Moore League?
19th.
19th. There we go. You're 2 for 2. Now this one's going to be a little trickier. You get it right, you get that coffee gift card. Which college did Mud Dogs attend?
Oh, shit, he told me too.
I can give you a hint.
No. Give me a hint.
West Coast. As far from Brooklyn as you could possibly get.
Yeah, no, I know. I want to know. I don't know if he did this. Jesus. Mitch, pretty smart guy. Stanford?
No, I'm sorry. San Diego State.
I would have never got it.
No.
No.
He was an Aztec.
You know, San Diego State ain't that big of a school, right? I mean,
No.
it may be bigger than I think, but you know, it's not a name school that I would know. But I figured he was pretty smart, so I figured maybe he went to Stanford.
That's a compliment to Mud Dogs. He thinks he's
Well,
a Stanford guy.
he's a nice guy when I talk to him. I enjoy talking to him.
Formerly the sweetheart of the league, but still an Ivy League type of guy. So
Sweetheart of the league, you said is Jimmy Lakes.
it is Jimmy Lakes now.
Right,
Yes.
yeah, so.
Yep.
Yeah, how many sweethearts of the leagues do you have?
No, formerly the sweetheart of the league. So let's play hit and run. I'm going to fire off some questions to you. First thing that comes to mind,
All right.
throw it out there. Your favorite athlete of all time? One athlete.
I guess Hank Bauer.
The historical figure you'd most like to have dinner with. So anybody in the history of the world.
You know, I was thinking about this. Anton Scalia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The former
Supreme Court
judge. Yeah.
I don't know if I would love to like pick his mind about different things he did. First of all, I like his politics, you know, the ultra conservative and all that. And the reason why I say that is, first of all, I don't know if I'm intelligent enough to even talk to him because the guy was brilliant. But I would just love to know, you know, how he made his decisions because I agreed with whatever I heard about him. And I would think that that would be a good guy to talk to.
Okay, that's a good answer. What's the most expensive thing you've ever broken?
I actually broke. My aunt had this China set, and she had these very expensive glasses, and I put down, maybe at that time it was a bottle of soda, and I put it right on top of the glass and broke the glass, and that's about the most expensive thing I guess I ever broke. Really don't break many things.
So you're on death row, and it's your final meal. You can order anything because you know this is it. What are you having? Any meal?
Lobster.
Lobster.
Yes.
Yeah. Anything else to go with it?
Oh, any seafood. You know, I like shrimp, clams, anything on seafood, even a steak. I mean, if I could have whatever I want, but mostly seafood because I do like it. Yeah.
The most memorable sports moment of your life, whether you played, whether you watched, something that comes to mind.
I was at the game. My brother-in-law Dick got me tickets. He used to be in advertising and for a World Series game. It was against Boston. And I went to that game. I think that's when, and believe it or not, I didn't even see it because I was talking to someone. I'm thinking now if this is when he hit that home run, Fisk hit the home run. I think was it Yankee Stadium? Because that's where it was. If he did that, that's the game that I was at, and I didn't see it because I wasn't watching the game at the time.
But you were there.
Probably bullshit with somebody. Yeah, I was there. I went to a World Series game, and that would probably be. And I did one time go to George Steinbrenner many years ago. He had a partner that was an accountant, and I had a friend of mine that worked for his George Steinbrenner's partner, and he got tickets to a private box that was behind home plate, and it was right next to Steinbrenner's box. Steinbrenner's box had 32 seats. This guy's had 15 seats, and he invited me to that game, and we had like free food, free everything,
Nice.
Getting in, free parking and all that. And I remember I parked my car next to Oscar Gamble.
Oh, yeah.
He was on the Yankees then. And he had a car, a fancy car that I parked next to.
Very cool. Give the league a recommendation for a Wawa sandwich that is not the tuna sandwich.
Well, it makes a lot. I guess their Italian sandwich is good, with all their different Italian cold cuts. You know what I mean?
Have you had their buffalo chicken sandwich?
No, I haven't.
No? That's a pretty good option. Channel 69, Escape. I know you like to flip that on in the car.
Yeah.
Who's the artist you most enjoy listening to on that channel? Specific artist or song, somebody that comes to mind that it just gets you in a driving mood.
Jeez, I told you I like all instruments. You know what I mean? Band or orchestra. Without singing, but if I like singing, I like Engelbert. I used to like his voice. I like Dean Martin. I used to like Dolly Parton. I liked all the when she sang with Western songs. Oh, Glenn Campbell, I liked. I liked Glenn Campbell a lot. I really did. I was ashamed that he died, and he was a great guitar player.
The best activity, event, party that the Riviera holds each year?
Well, they have quite a few parties here, you know what I mean? And we have like the Olympics, that we play outside. I like all the outside stuff, but we have a lot of entertainment here. They had some shows that were pretty good. It's hard to say one particular. There are a couple of things that I liked, and there's a lot of stuff that wasn't worth the money.
You're going to the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City with one member of the league. Who are you taking? Let's go look at art all day.
Who am I taking? Who would know the most? I admire my son-in-law because he's pretty knowledgeable on everything. I guess I would take him.
So you're taking Pop's Fish to the Met.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, he's pretty clever on everything.
All right. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
I love hot dogs. You could call it whatever you want. I'll eat it. I think it's. I don't call it a sandwich. No.
No.
It's a hot dog on a roll. No, I don't call it a sandwich.
No.
So, and I like it without bread too. I could just cut it
So
up
it's
like
definitely
cocktail.
not a sandwich then.
No, I know,
Oh.
and I like to cut it up as a cocktail. So I like that.
Oh, little toothpicks.
Yeah.
A member of the league you'd like to sit down and have coffee with, besides the commish, obviously. Nice Sunday morning chat.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to. Probably your father.
Mean Machine, yeah?
Yeah, you know why? Because I could talk to him about different things than I would talk to about my son-in-law. Most of the time, I talk to my son-in-law. I know a lot about him. Maybe your dad, if your dad would lighten up and sometimes he
Lighten up, Mean Machine.
just like he's sometimes I find him to be reserved, what I mean? I don't think he wants to he doesn't like to talk about himself.
No.
Which surprises me. If you do good things, you know what I mean? I could probably brag about him more than he could brag about himself.
That's why I love having him on the show. It just puts him in the hot seat.
Yeah, it does.
Makes him uncomfortable. So.
But I think if, like, you know, I like to talk about that running because it's something that I ain't doing it, that's for sure.
Just give him some of that Irish whiskey, a couple cups, and he'll loosen up there.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Where are we here? Say something nice about the Mountaineers.
You know what I'm getting tired about the Mountaineers and his brother?
Okay, here you go.
Right? When you have to extend their names on their teams. Can we put an end to that? I mean...
So you don't like the Mountaineers?
No, yeah, like,
Rule?
do Mountaineers is fine, you know what I mean? We don't have to stretch that name out. Giant Rule's the same thing, you know what I mean? That's my opinion. I would like to know what everybody else does. Are we tired of it?
So you would propose to just change their team names altogether?
They could keep it, but let's not add to the name at the end, you know, and let's just say do Mountaineers.
So let's get rid of the exclamation
I happen
points.
to like West Virginia, the team, not that I know that much about it, but I always liked West Virginia. And, yeah, I just said to myself, you know, can we, you know, end that extension?
It's a proposal to the league, get rid of the exclamation points then.
Yeah.
I've asked, I think, everybody this year, so I'm going to ask you, untouchable or freehold?
Well, everybody wants a freehold. I don't like the name. I'll never go for a free. You know, untouchable. I kept again this year, even though I said I wasn't, because everybody said I was touchable, which I understood. But I sort of kind of like the name. I'm trying to think of another name, and then maybe next year I'll come up with one. But as I said, that's the name I like.
Person in the league that you'd like to see produce a video or an article or something that doesn't already.
Well, Vinny doesn't have anything, you know what I mean? I think he'd be interested in, you know, I think he would be an interesting guy to do that, you know what I mean? And I can never do it because I can't work all this equipment. I don't even have a cell phone, you know what I mean? So, I think he'd be interesting because he really does a lot of stuff.
Last question for you. If you were trapped in a foxhole, which person in the league would you want in there to help you get out?
Who the hell's going to lift me? I don't know.
Under enemy attack.
I don't know. Do we have any military people that were in the military? I don't know. Other than myself. Was your dad in the military?
No.
I'd like to get a military guy in there. What about Mitch? Was he in? Probably not.
Don't believe so.
And I know the two brothers, yourself, Warren.
Nope.
Vinny wasn't. What about the guy in Yardley?
Shake and bake? No.
What about Florida? Was he there?
Crazy Fools? No.
So there's nobody else in the Army but me?
Nope.
Oh, Jesus. What would be the toughest, I guess? Either Giant Rule or his brother.
Yeah,
you know?
so one of the tallest guys.
Well, they look like the strongest. You know, either one. I don't know who's stronger. What was ever stronger between the two?
I would debate that one, but we'll leave that for a future episode of Coffee with the Commish as far as strongest.
Between them two? Oh, then they got you and your brother, right. I never thought of that.
They certainly are the tallest. And that was Madison Hedgecock's pick.
You know what? You're
Giants
right.
Rule's the tallest, so.
No, I understand that. I was thinking because the other guy's into weights and all that. That's true. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's
4A health plug for the week.
Yeah. And I haven't heard them. They haven't been on. And Andrew complained about, nobody watches this program. How could you watch it? He's never on no more.
Yeah, so if you didn't read the weekly notes, we had an in memoriam for those two shows, a little candlelight vigil there because...
Yeah, what happened to them? You know what I mean?
They just stopped producing.
Don't they know I got nothing to do? But you know what I mean? I look at it. Sometimes I watch the old interviews. Every now and then they come on on YouTube. How's that happen?
Well, that's a conversation for another day, but the technology with YouTube knows what you're watching, so...
Oh, I see. Okay.
On the channels.
All right.
Yeah, so moment of silence again for pardon the interruption and ice cold takes. It was a good run. So You get one question for the commish.
All right. I don't know if I asked you this question or not, but it always it bugged me like right now.
Uh-oh.
Why didn't you? I know you went out for football, you didn't make it, but you probably were better at track than football size-wise. Why didn't you go out for their track team?
Why didn't I go out for the Penn State track team? At that point, those are world-class athletes.
Well, what the hell are you? I mean, how much faster could they have been than you? I mean, you would really have a good time, man. In fact, your father says you still hold a record at Colts Neck.
So I guess from a recruiting standpoint for track and field, my best numbers were my junior, senior year of high school, so a little bit late in the game as far as being recruited is concerned. I don't know, just never tried out as a walk-on there or anything like that. Did try out as a walk-on for the football team, so that didn't work out, obviously. But, yeah.
And I always told you this, and you didn't do it. Not that I told you to do it because I didn't know at the time, but you had told me that your grandfather knew Joe Paterno very well, and you met Joe Paterno, but you never even mentioned that you were going to try out for the team to try to let him personally take a look at you, being that he knew your grandfather so much.
So a quick story there, because I know that we're running along here on the show, but I did run into Joe Paterno a couple times during my Penn State days and asked him if he remembered my grandfather, who went to Brooklyn Prep with him, high school. It's now a defunct high school, but he said he does remember him, and this was after a pep rally.
But you never try to tell him that you're also an athlete, that you're going to try out for the football, just so he would keep an eye on you.
No, I did not. This is as the team was walking out of a pep rally, so it was a quick, 30-second conversation, but one that I'll remember forever. So.
Okay.
But good questions. That's it for Coffee with the Commish this week, and stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.